Welcome to another episode of your favorite libertarian. Today we're going to be doing a review on the T.REX Arms Ready Rig. In this review, we'll be going over features, setup, accessories, why you'd want a chest rig, why you might want this chest rig, also why you might not want this chest rig, comparison between this and the Faro Concepts Chesty Mini, and of course, as always, final thoughts. Stay tuned. Features! First, let's start with the shoulder straps. So you have these shoulder straps here. This is an X harness configuration. So they have incorporated a little keeper so that this doesn't get too far apart as you are wearing it on your shoulders, so it doesn't slip off your shoulders if you don't have any shoulders. This is made of nylon, and there's not much else to say about it. I'll get into the setup and adjustment of these straps later, but just to let you know, construction-wise, we're working with some nylon straps. You also have an elastic cummerbund. So you have some cells in here. The first of which of these cells is going to be your 3 cells for your magazines. Then after that, on your sides, starting from the front of your body, you have a small or like a Snicker sized or a magazine sized for pistol size cell. Then you have an AR-15 size cell. And then after that, you have a bigger, wider cell, which is really cool that they incorporated, which I haven't seen anyone else do for medical, for anything bigger, radios, whatever. You can put in here, and as you can see on this side, it stretches out pretty far, so I was able to get a little medical kit in here and keep medical on the chest rig itself, which is pretty cool. But it's the same on each side, so starting from the back going outward, it's the same amount of cells and the same size cells. Why is this elastic cummerbund good? A couple reasons. The benefits for me and probably for most people are going to be that this will expand and contract as you breathe, so it can still be tight to your body, much tighter than any type of Cordura or nylon, but it will still allow you to breathe, and it will move with your body and bend with your body, which makes it really comfortable. The con to that is this is going to be hotter in the summer because you have all this material right up against your body, whereas with a traditional chest rig, it's going to have a couple nylon straps, and then you're going to have all that open area around you to have your body breathe. Good news is this being super tight to your body and being very thin is going to give you a very low profile look. It's going to pack really well in a bag. And in the winter, it'll help keep you warm a little bit. Lastly, as far as the features go, I'm going to call this a feature that this is made in America by Americans. God bless America. Time to talk about setup. I'm going to break this into 4 sections. The first is going to be sizing your shoulder straps and nipple considerations. I know. Second is going to be sizing the cummerbund. Third is going to be the distance that this needs to sit on your body if you are appendix carrying. And third is going to be the height of the mags for drawing. Those are the main considerations you're going to want to think about when sizing your ready rig. First, let's talk about the shoulder straps. These shoulder straps, as far as adjustment goes, are adjusted in the back. So you have these straps back here. In order to adjust them, this is kind of like an additional method to keep it on, but you could just have it like this and they would stay secure. And then if you want to adjust it, pull that out. And then from here, you could pull this to make it shorter or extend it to make it longer. You can move this buckle anywhere you want for whatever's comfortable for your body. And then all you have to do once you have it set to the length that you want is feed this back through. Like so. And then as an additional measure, I like to do this back through this way. One, to keep the straps out of the way, but two, just to make sure nothing comes sliding out. Little tip I found out when I was going through my sizing journey was if you have this set really high on your body, so if you have your chest rig like basically on your chest and you have a lot of excess strap, you can feed that through this D-ring behind. So this would be where your back would be. So behind and through, and then come up this way, and then you can actually use this Velcro keeper to keep the excess strap pinned down on here. So that way, if you have really long excess straps, you don't necessarily need to cut them. You can just kind of keep them out of the way that way. So there you go. All right, so if you're anything like me, you have nipples. I'll try to not say the word nipples a lot, but I can't make any promises when I'm going to be talking about this. So these shoulder straps, these themselves are pretty comfortable. The buckles are okay. And then you have other things that are not as comfortable, like the mags themselves, the ends of the mags where the rounds come out, that sort of thing, feed lips, etc. When I first got this chest rig, I put it on right away, and I didn't size it at all because I wanted to get a data point for everybody and see if I was or you were 6'3", 180, 175 pounds, my build, would this ready rig just be able to be thrown on and not have to be adjusted at all? I wanted to see if that data point was there for you. It was not. And here's how I found out. I put this on, put it on under my coat, went to a pond with my family and did some ice skating / sliding around for the people who didn't have ice skates like myself, and pretty much everybody. Just one of my sons had ice skates that were my wife's when she was a kid, so it was super cute seeing him skate around in those. But I digress. Out there pretty much all day and bending down, picking up my sons as they fell and just playing with them, having fun. When I got home, I noticed some discomfort in a set area that we talked about previously. I did a good job. I didn't say the word that time. And the reason I did was because the way I had this positioned, every time I was bending down, the edges of these mags were perfectly aligned with my nipples. So that was rubbing, and that's not what you want. So I decided, all right, I'm going to look at the T.REX arms live that they did for the Ready Rig, see how Lucas has his adjusted and positioned on his body, and see if maybe that would work for me. So Lucas pretty much has his chest rig, his Ready Rig on his chest. It is super high up. It's shocking to me that he can actually pull these mags out without hitting himself in the face, but he's able to do it. So I tried that. I got as high up as I could. The problem with that was once I did that, my issue then became this strap right here, kind of the D-ring, and then where this meets was just right on the edge, so it was rubbing there. So I said, all right, well, that's not working. Let me try going lower. So I ended up going lower, and that ended up being what worked best for me. What works best for me might not work best for you. The width of your chest is going to matter as well, and the positioning of where your nipples are. I don't know why I'm getting this specific, but I figured I'd let everybody know because this was something I was not expecting to have an issue with, but ended up having an issue with. I have other chest rigs and haven't had any rubbing issues, but because of this cummerbund design, and I think also because there's just bare exposed magazine on the back of this, whereas the other chest rig that I normally run has Cordura behind it. That could be a reason why too. We'll get into that on some of the comparison portion of the video, but something to think about. And I will put this on so you can see what it looks like on my body, where I have it positioned and how I have it set up. But that is all I'm really going to say about the shoulder straps and that positioning stuff. Now let's talk about the cummerbund. The cummerbund adjusts in the back as well. Well, I should say it adjusts two ways. You can adjust it based on how far you put this in the front, but that's also going to depend on where you want these cells to end up being on the sides of your body. So really, the way that you adjust it is on the back. So this piece right here kind of acts as a taco. It goes like this, and it grabs the Velcro ends of the cummerbund on both sides. Let me show you what I mean. I pull this out, and I have loop Velcro on this side, and then this, along with the other cummerbund ends, are hook on this side and then loop on the other side. And on the other side of this taco, you have more hook. So in order to adjust how wide you want your ready rig to be and how tight you want it to be to your body, you move these ends this way and that way, like so. Say, okay, I want it about there we go, boop. And then besides having the retention of this Velcro on this Velcro on this Velcro, so 3 layers of Velcro, you also have this to keep everything in place and to keep the hook off of anything that you're in front of, I guess. So if you're in a car and you don't want it to tear up your seats, that might be an issue for you if you have it sized a little bit further back. But for the most part, this covers most of it. And it acts as another way to keep everything in place. I have a few suggestions for T.REX arms. If they're watching this video, which they're probably not, I would suggest to not have to worry about this hook Velcro coming out this way and catching on things. I have 2 suggestions. Both are free. The first one is to make this keeper, this taco that kind of clamps over it, make this wider. That way you could have this adjust further out and you would still cover the hook Velcro and everything would be comfortable. Nothing would be scratchy on the back. The other thing that they could do is to make the Velcro portion on these cummerbunds shorter. So instead of having it be this size, having it come in a little bit, maybe even half the amount right here, and then you could really get far out, and because you have all this additional retention of the Velcro with this clamp, it's still going to stay on and it's not going anywhere. That would probably be where I would lean as a company that was designing things, because it's going to be less material cost and it's going to give you more adjustability. And if one of the goals is to equip, as their mission statement states, then you can equip larger people or a larger variety of sizes of people with that design. Now I'm going to go ahead and put this on so we can talk about the distance for appendix carry and the height of the mags for drawing. So this is where I have my height set up for the length of these straps, and I'm able to grab my magazine, pull it out, clear what's holding the magazine, and turn it into my workspace without any issues. And while doing so, I'm also not hitting my chin or any part of my face on the way up. So that's what you want. Ideally, you want it as high as you can get it with still being able to do that without hitting your chin. But for me, because of those rubbing issues, this is how I have it set up right now. So as you can see, to give you an idea, apologize if this is weird or not, but nipples right here and nothing's rubbing. There is this hard plastic piece that's holding the strap, but it's not a problem. It's actually pretty smooth and it doesn't have any sharp edges on it, so I'm not having any issues rubbing there. So you can see this is how it looks on me, the height compared to my shoulders and my torso. Basically the bottom of my chest is right here, and then rib cage, etc. Further down. Now I'm going to move the camera a little bit lower so you can see how I have this with my appendix carry setup and how much clearance I have with how low this is. So now you can see what it would look like underneath my shirt with my appendix rig setup. If you have any questions on this appendix rig holster, the gun itself, all that stuff. I've got tons of videos on all of that on the channel, so feel free to check those out. But what we are worried about right now is making sure that we can draw and we can get the reload out with this being as low as it is. So we've got the good parts about me being able to get to all of this stuff really easily and it not rubbing, but we need to make sure that we can still draw and not be hung up here. So if you look, if I just draw straight up, I can't really do that with this here because it gets in the way. The only way for me to have this not get in the way is if I had it super high up on my chest, and at that point I'd probably be hitting my face with the other mags. So yeah. But what I do is when I'm drawing, I pull up and out slightly so that I clear that, and then I can present and I don't have any issues there. And I can do it pretty fast. And it does rub my hand a little bit, but I'm not gonna care that much about that in the heat of the moment, I would think. And then I can get my reload out as well. So those are just some things to think about when you are when you are sizing this if you do run appendix. Now, I already know what you're gonna say, but wait a minute. This doesn't look like it does in the commercials. Why is all this stuff on here? Well, I'll tell you. These are my accessories. These are what I've added to this ready rig to make it work the best for me so far based on my limited testing. I'm going to go over each accessory, talk about why I have this set up the way that I do. I'll also go over costs, and then all of the links to all this stuff will be in the description below. So first, I have a low light class coming up, actually 2 low light classes coming up back to back. I have foundation handgun and I also have foundation long gun. And for those classes, the requirement is to have 2 red chem lights, one in front of you and one behind you. So first thing, I had to get chem lights. And these chem lights are from Sialum. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but Sialum chem lights. These came in a 10-pack, and it was $15.22 for that 10-pack on Amazon. And these are supposed to last 12 hours after they're cracked. And we'll see if that's the case. I can give you a little mini review on those after the class, see if they lasted as long. But they're 2 8-hour classes, night to night. And then I also needed a way to hold these, which is why I got these. These are by BrickKit USA. They're $12 a piece, and these are also available on Amazon. They're basically for CR123A batteries. This is elastic on the front and then Velcro, hook Velcro on the back. So I figure I could have one of these either this way or this way, holding a chem light in the front, and then in the back there's no way to Velcro anything to the back, so I would probably either use paracord and just dangle one off the back, or I'd put it on my Orion belt and slip it through the molly webbing for that. Now we'll talk about the T.REX Arms cat tourniquet holder. This is available on their website. It is $15 and it is already falling apart. I don't know how well you can see this, but the stitching right here, that's supposed to be this box, and then you have the X stitching right here. This is already coming off just from me having this on here and taking it off a couple times in this video. So come on, T.REX Arms, you're better than that. But essentially all this is a Velcro, 2-sided Velcro panel, and then a big tube of elastic for you to put a tourniquet in. And as far as what else I have on here, I have a Gen 7 cat tourniquet from North American Rescue, which is $29 either on T.REX Arms website or on southpawdraw.shop. And I also have a Sharpie, which I don't know how much this costs, but you know how much a Sharpie costs. And I have this set up this way so that when I have it here, I can rip out this tourniquet from the bottom, and then I can take this Sharpie out from the top, and I can write the time that the tourniquet was applied, so that the medical professionals, much more professional than me, will know that information when hopefully they get there very shortly after something bad happens that I need to help with. And the reason that I have it set up right here as opposed to down here, which you see a lot of different setups like that where it's dangling down here, is that as I appendix carry, I want to have more room in this area for drawing. And also I have it upside down as opposed to right side up, because if I had this piece up here, it would interfere with the mags, and I don't want to do that, obviously. Next up, we have this American flag patch. This is a 3x5 American flag patch, and it is from Empire Tactical USA. You can get these off of their website, or you can get them off of Amazon. This one was $14 before shipping, tax, all that stuff. The reason that I have this American flag on here, besides me being an American and proud of it, is that in the event that I have to pull this out of a bag, or Superman and rip open my first layer of clothing and reveal that I am ready to defend the innocent when a psychopath is on the loose and mowing down people, is that when the police show up, I want to make sure that they know and all of the witnesses know that I am the good guy and I am not a terrorist. So this helps in signaling and signifying that I am a good guy and I'm not the one that they should be pointing guns at. Because the idea of this is to have it be so low profile that you can wear it under clothing, you can have it in a bag, and in the event that you need to have mags and medical and all this stuff on you right away, you can throw it on really easily, or just already have it on you and be able to use it in defense of others. We also have the mags here. These are Lancer mags. These are L5AWM 30 round mags, all black. And these are about $16 a piece, depending on where you get them, $16 to $18 to $19 a piece. At the filming of this video, there could be more as time goes on with things going on right now, but that's how much they cost right now. Lastly, got our medical besides the tourniquet, and that is the T.REX arms ITRK EDC medical kit, and this is $62 on their website. All sorts of really good stuff in here. If you want to see the contents of it, I'm not really going to go over it right now, but you can go on their website and check that out. Pro tip: when you put this back in, make sure these little sharp pointy things are in the elastic so they don't poke into your rib cage. Ask me how I know. So those are all the accessories that I've put on here and the reasons why. If you have any questions on my reasoning, or if you want to tell me what you have as far as how you would set this up or what you would do differently, great to have that information as well for myself and also for everyone watching the video. I will be testing this setup out in my low light classes, so I'll let you know if any of this stuff changes, if I decide I'm going to get rid of that or move this around or whatever. But otherwise, I'm really happy with this setup, the way that I have it and the accessories that I've added and the reasons why it makes sense to me. But let me know if your opinion's different. Now it's time for what I've promised you, which is a comparison between the Ready Rig and something else. This something else is something I've set up based off of the Feral Concepts Chesty Mini Rig. If you want a full review on this and all the accessories and how I have it set up, then that is on my channel as well, and that will be linked at the end of this video if you stay to the very end. There's a few things that I want to compare with these two setups. Some of them are going to be apples to oranges because they are different setups, elastic cummerbund setups versus H harness, X harness, all this stuff. But some of the things I want to compare are the way that the mags fit inside each of these and what's exposed, what's not exposed to the back side of this and your body with these two setups. I also am going to cover the Kydex inserts, the good and bad about them in these two options, the durability aspect of the elastic versus Cordura, breathability for each system, the X harness versus the H harness, the shoulder straps themselves, weight distribution for both of these, and also the color options and configurations for both of these setups, just because I'm super picky like that. All right, first let's talk about the panels and what covers the mags and what doesn't. As you can see, for the Ready Rig, there's really nothing that is on the other side of this mag, hence the issues I was having with rubbing. With the Faro Concept setup, you have a lot more material behind, or I should say in between you and the magazine. So if you're talking about the corners of the magazine, which is where you're most likely to contact on your nipple, this is all covered. So besides having this corner covered here, on the back side, you actually have nylon. So it's going to be very comfortable. There's not anything that's hard that's going to rub on you, or anything that's pointy that's going to rub on you. And for me, I'm able to have this in any position, higher, lower, in the middle on my body, and I haven't had any rubbing issues. And same thing for this corner of the magazine here. We got the same setup on this side. So I would say I would give a point to this setup for the rubbing issues. The Kydex inserts, as you can see, these are way easier to re-index. It keeps it open, slide it in, clicks in, and retains it really well. These retain really well, but they're a lot harder to get back in. So pull these out, and it keeps it open a little bit, but you kind of have to like put a corner in and then slide it in. So that's not as good for retention. I will say though, it cuts away at the bulk. So bulk, I would say this is less bulky than this, but this is going to be a lot easier to re-index mags and draw mags because of this setup. And if you want more information on what's inside that's making that do that, again, check out the video on this. Durability. Now, this is already something within this review that I'm seeing that I'm not a huge fan of when it comes to the T.REX Arms Ready Rig. And that could just be they're trying to push these out really quickly because there's a really high demand for them, which isn't an excuse. Or it could be that this is the first iteration and they're trying to learn from customer feedback what they need to change, what they need to beef up. So this Cordura material, very durable. I've had this stuff a long time and have not had any issues. The stitching is excellent for the Faro Concept stuff, and I haven't had any problems with anything wearing out or coming unstitched or ripping off. So this is definitely, I'll give durability to this setup. The issues with the T.REX Arms setup is that, one, we already talked about this $15 piece that, I mean, there's not a whole lot you have to have it do. It just has to be Velcro and elastic, and that's it, and have good stitching. This stitching is already coming undone just from having something Velcroed to it a couple times. And then you can even see like the harder material. I'm trying to think what it's called. But all this stuff is starting to come apart too, which is just unacceptable for something that I've used a couple times. Also, I'm not 100% confident that the combination, and you can kind of see it like as I'm pulling, it's really stressing out these. It's really stressing out these parts of stitching. So you have stitching on this elastic. So it's going through the elastic and then it's going onto this Velcro panel, and it's not very beefy stitching. It's, you know, it's kind of like the bare minimum stitching in my opinion from what I've seen from other companies. So I'm worried that when I am taking this off and putting it on and having to rip it off, that the stitching is going to come undone. I can already see some excess stitching out here. I'm not sure if, yeah, I can kind of like pull it up. So I'm worried because this stitching is not far out to the edge, especially on this one, that it's eventually going to rip itself off. And I don't have any of those confidence issues with the setup over here. So I would say durability, this is probably not going to be as durable, but I will say that because this is not as hard and rigid of a material, that it'll be more comfortable. So it's kind of give and take. You can't really have it all. At least I haven't seen that yet. So something to keep in mind. This is probably not going to last as long as something like this, but this is going to be more comfortable. Let's talk about breathability. We already touched on it a little bit with this guy. This is not going to be as breathable because you have this solid material across your whole body. This is going to be more breathable in some places. It's not going to be as breathable, obviously, in the front because you have this big panel and you have more material. Going back to the amount of material covering the mags, you have more material covering the mags. And this is going to be more breathable in the back because you just have these little thin nylon straps in the back and around the sides and over your shoulders. These straps on top are thin and they have little cuts in these to put comms and different things like that, but this is also going to be kind of like ventilation, I guess you could say. So this is going to be more breathable in some areas than this one will. All right, so the big debate over harness types. You've got the H harness over here and you have the X harness over here. Both have their merits, both have their disadvantages. I would say the advantage of the H harness system is that it is going to be in the same place all the time. It's not going to shift on you because the spacing is not going to change for your shoulders widthwise. That could be good or that could be bad depending on if this fits right for you when you get it. If it doesn't fit right, then there's no real adjustability left to right. It's only going to adjust with these straps, and it's going to make higher or lower on your body, which doesn't really matter if your shoulders are not in the right width to begin with. The X harness system is good because it can move and adjust to more people and more widths and sizes of people. The bad news is this isn't going to stay in place as easily, so the reason this has this keeper here is so it's not going to slide off your shoulders. I am having to get used to this X harness system. It's not bad by any means. It works, it's fine, but I much prefer an H harness system. Another free idea for T.REX arms. If you wanted to have the H harness version of this, be pretty easy to change out the straps, and if you're worried about adjustability and still being able to have this fit a bunch of different people, so you're going to equip more people, I got you covered there. You could have loop Velcro on the straps, and that would be really comfortable against your body. And then you could have a H harness thing like this on the backside, and you could actually have like little clamping Velcro pieces on the ends, so that way you can adjust the height, and you could even have it adjust the width by just like curling it over more or the other way, and that would be a way that you could solve that problem. So free idea there for you as well. You're welcome. The shoulder straps, I will have to give another point to the Faro Concepts Chesty. These are wider than the T.REX Arms Ready Rig straps, and these are thinner, and they're also just more comfortable in my opinion. They distribute the weight better on your shoulders. This is not as important on this one because the weight's distributed better overall. So let's get into that too. Weight distribution. So this is going to distribute the weight better for a couple of reasons. One, this is holding tight to your body, so it's going to distribute the weight across any surface area that's contacting on your body. Also, this gives you more options to put things on your body than right in front. You can see I do have this here and the mags, but then I have medical in the back, so I'm kind of distributing that weight a little bit. If I wanted to, I could put this tourniquet on the other side in the back and I could distribute it more, but this gives you a lot more options for weight distribution. This one, however, requires you to have everything in the very front. So you can see I've got all my medical right here, but it's in the front. I can't put it on the side, I can't put it in the back because this is the only place it can go. My tourniquet, also right here. This is the only place I can put my tourniquet. Or I could put it in here, I guess. Magazines, right here. So all of the weight is going to be forward, and unless you have this really tight, everything's going to want to sag and push your center of gravity forward, which is going to fatigue you faster and not be as ideal for long-term use as far as wearing it a long time and not wanting to take it off. So pro, I would say, to the weight distribution on this setup over this one. Lastly, and this is very nitpicky, the color. So I like the Ranger Green for both of them. That's good, no complaints there. The thing that I like more about the T.REX Arms Ready Rig is that it is black and Ranger Green, whereas the Faro Concepts setup is a coyote brown or some type of brown or tan and Ranger Green. I understand this is like more found in nature type colors, but I do much more aesthetically prefer the black and Ranger green look of the Ready Rig. So point to the Ready Rig. You might be asking yourself, what should I get? Should I get a plate carrier? Should I get a chest rig? Why is a plate carrier better than a chest rig, or vice versa? What are the uses? What are the pros and cons? If you have any of those questions, check out 2 of the videos that I've already done, which are on 2 Faro Concepts products, which is the Faro Concepts Slickster and the Faro Concepts Chesty Mini Rig. Those 2 talk about it from the perspective of a chest rig, possibly being better in some cases, and the perspective of a plate carrier being better in some cases, and kind of the philosophies of use, if you will, of those 2 systems. So if you have any questions on those, check them out. I believe at the 6:41 minute mark of the Chesty review, I get into the why is a chest rig something that you should get, and what are the benefits of a chest rig. So check those out. If you have any questions afterwards, let me know in the comment sections below. Final thoughts. We've gone through a lot on this Ready Rig as far as setup, features, accessories, comparing this to another type of chest rig. And one of the things that I definitely gave a point to the Faro Concepts Chesty mini chesty setup was durability. This is not going to be as durable as that, and I would say probably not as durable as a lot of things for a few reasons. One, in the review process, I usually have to film these in multiple videos, multiple days, because of my schedule and just things going on in my life. So at first I noticed during the first part of the review process, I noticed that this tourniquet holder had the stitching come out just after having Velcro on top of it a couple times. And it's not like this is Cordura on this side and stitching and you're not supposed to put Velcro. This is a Velcro panel. It's supposed to have Velcro on it and be Velcro to things. So this was an issue, and I was hoping that wasn't indicative to other stitched T.REX Arms products. But then really taking a deep dive and a close look into the Ready Rig itself, I noticed that there's some areas of stitching that are coming up and coming undone. Also, just the design of these cells, having the stitching being not far enough over to the edge of these Velcro panels, that'll probably lend itself to having issues and wanting to pull off. I've already kind of seen it in some of the cells. And then on this pistol cell, so you can put a pistol mag or a bunch of other things. I have a flashlight in it right now because I'm going to be running this and testing this in my low light class that I have coming up. And I've already noticed that there's a little hole that is, so there's a little hole that's starting in the elastic of this, which is very surprising. Mind you, I am not doing any type of high-speed operator stuff with this. I haven't taken any classes with it yet. All I've done is put it on, sized it, put all my stuff in it and on it, and I've done a little bit of dry fire practice with it, but that's it. I'm not doing any type of crazy stuff with it, and I'm already seeing issues in durability after having it like a couple weeks. So I would say if you are worried about durability and you want something that's going to last a very long time, do not get the Ready Rig. Now, if durability isn't as much of a concern, or you're pretty handy with a needle and thread or a sewing machine, and you can fix or reinforce the areas that you see as trouble spots, and you have $130 to spend, and you don't already have a chest rig, and you're more concerned with the low profile and comfort of the Ready Rig, and those are things that are big selling points for you, and that's what you care more about, then go ahead and get it. But I would probably say for my do whatever you want, obviously it's up to you, but I would wait until there's a newer version of this out, or they've heard customer concerns and customer issues and have reinforced the stitching, double, triple stitched areas, or used better threading for those areas that are stitched, and then get that one. Sometimes it's just a matter of having a bigger sample size in testing or having other people having different perspectives, different personality types looking at things to really unearth any issues that might arise. And I'm sure with T.REX Arms customer service, when I contact them, they're going to be able to handle whatever the issue is right away, either replacing it or repairing it or whatever. So if I do end up contacting customer service, I will give you an update on how that went, and also with the new product, if it is a new product thing where they need to send a new one or whatever it is, I'll also test that and let you know if the new one's better or if there's any issues with that as well. First and foremost, it is my responsibility to be honest with you and to give you realness in these reviews, so that if you are spending your hard-earned money on something, you know it's good or you know it's bad, or you know what to look for and be wary about in that buying decision-making process. So that's what I would have to say as far as final thoughts go on the ReadyRig. If you don't care about durability and you're more all about the tightness to the body, the comfort for all the covert stuff, then I would say get it. If you're more leaning towards, hey, I want to make sure that this is going to last for a really long time, don't get this. At least don't get the first gen of this. Keep in mind that they have just spun up a sewing or tactical nylon division of their company. So cut them a little bit of slack and understand that they're learning as they're going as well. They're expanding to a new area of the business. So don't be too hard on them. If you get a product and there's some issues, work with them. They'll work with you, I'm sure. But yeah, final thoughts are, don't get this if you're concerned with durability. That's going to do it for me and the T.REX Arms ReadyRig. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, comments, or if you have any recommendations on what you would like to see on the channel, be sure to leave that in the comment section below. If you like this video, be sure to hit the like button and let YouTube know that you like freedom-based content. Also, if you want to get around all of the silencing algorithms, be sure to share this video with anybody that you think would find this information useful as they're looking for any particular gear to defend themselves and their loved ones. Thanks for watching again, and as always, stay free. God bless.